we'll get started then. So firstly, thanks everyone for taking the time out this evening to come along to this webinar. Hopefully you'll find it really useful and be able to use the information to help you kind of keep your pitches at a good standard. I'm Aidan Ainsley. I'm Facility and Investment Lead at Kent FA. So there's a number of us from various different county FAs in the southeast that are working together to deliver CPD sessions like this across the season. So we've got various versions of me from different counties that are on the call as well, who will be able to jump in and hopefully answer any questions you've got via the chat as well. We fingers crossed should be joined by our regional pitch advisor from the Grounds Management Association. So he's actually been traveling around on site visits today, so he might be a little bit late if he's able to make it, but if not, we'll be able to cover off his section as well. And we're also joined by Easy Fundraising. So Joe Robinson, who's the Sports Partnership Manager at Easy Fundraising, will be able to give us a bit of insight into hopefully how you can find a way of replacing some of the investment that the Football Foundation funding will be tapering off once you get past year 6. So, but we'll come to that very shortly. So just by way of agenda, so we're going to go through very quickly just some of the ongoing conditions of your grant that you'll need to be aware of, even though you're beyond the funded period. We'll have a look at some of the continued recommended operations to try and do, particularly if you can't get all of the operations done that you used to with the grant funding there, which ones are the ones to try and maintain if you can. Any machinery that you might need to look at utilising to bring some of your spend in-house. And then some of the financial side, so how you can sustain the investment that you're already putting in and maybe even generate some new income streams to help you to continue to invest in having good quality pitches. Okay, so we're going to kick off with the ongoing conditions of grant award. So if you've got your offer letter, most people have lost theirs, but you can always contact the Football Foundation to get hold of it again. It should be in your portal as well when you log in. However, the key element that's in there is that the foundation still want you to assess your pitches via Pitch Power until you get to the 10-year mark, 10 years from when your grant was originally offered. Part of the reason for this is they want to see what happens with the quality of grass pitches after their funding period ends. Do organisations manage to find a way of sustaining the investment and keeping the pitches at a good quality standard, or do they start to regress? So you'll notice that in the actual terms, it says that monitoring information in respect of each pitch must be submitted via Pitch Power as prescribed by the Football Foundation. Monitoring information needs to be submitted a minimum of 2 times per year, once in window 1, which is between the 1st of November and the 31st of March, and then in one of the next 2 windows, either the 1st of April, 30th of June, or the 1st of July to the 31st of October. This is going to be changing to once per season. However, until you receive official communication on that from the Football Foundation, stick to doing it twice a season, to make sure that you've got that you're keeping within the terms and conditions of the grant. So, as you'll be aware, once you've completed a Pitch Power assessment, you'll receive a Pitch Power report, which will have advice in there around the various maintenance operations. So obviously this is really important to keep doing beyond the funded period. So although and even beyond the year 10 period, it's still a good one to carry on doing, because the advice comes directly from the Grounds Management Association, and they're obviously the technical experts that can really give you that good advice, and make sure that when you are spending money, you're spending it in the right way and on the best operations. Just a reminder that the information that comes through the Pitch Power reports is in priority order in terms of the maintenance operations. So you're potentially be in a position where you can't afford to pay for everything that's in your Pitch Power report in terms of the recommendations. If that's the case, then work from the top down and try and complete the operations higher up the list first, as a priority. Okay. You'll also notice that in the report, there is potentially some recommendations for the purchase of machinery. We'll discuss this a little bit more as we go through, but you will need items to be listed in there as recommended items of machinery if you want to apply for Football Foundation funding for machinery. But we will go into that in a little more detail as we go through. Okay, so just moving on to the continued recommended operations and in-house machinery. I can't see on my screen. Can one of the County FA guys let me know if Dan's on the call?
No,
I'm just having a look now. I can't see.
Okay, no worries. I will cover off Dan's section. So in terms of regular maintenance, obviously it's going to be very difficult for a contractor to be able to carry out all of the operations for you without you having that funding. So it would be good to try and bring some of those operations in-house. Obviously the standard elements of regular mowing with the appropriate equipment is going to help you to keep your pitch at a good standard. The Pitch Power report has got guidance in there around the recommended height of cut as well. So both the height of cut and the frequency of the cut as well will go a long way to making sure that you're keeping your pitches at a good standard. Obviously doing regular repairs on the high wear areas, so thinking goal areas. A really good tip is, if you can, to get your parents involved or spectators involved post-match, particularly with goal areas, to try and stop them compacting. Get a fork into them, get some seed and get some topsoil on it straight after the match, to level out the areas and hopefully prevent them from suffering, as they can do across the season. Surface grooming, obviously clearing out all of the debris that ends up nestling in the surface of the pitch is key to try and remove if you can. So getting that done at least once a season would be the best recommendation in that regard. And then where you can get some decompaction aeration work done, particularly if you've got some of your own equipment. If you've got a deep slitter, then you can get that done monthly, and that can often go a long way to maintaining an aerated soil profile as well. One key element is around not wasting money. So it's really important that you're spending the money that you do have in the right way. So do you know how much fertilizer and what type your pitch needs? So you can get soil and you can get your soil analyzed so that you can make sure that you're purchasing the right fertilizer for your type of soil, and this will make sure that you're spending that money in the right way and not seeing it go to waste. Same with overdressing as well with sand. Making sure that you're using a sports sand as well, from both from a health and safety point of view, but also from a drainage point of view, will definitely reap rewards. And then also making sure that you're dispersing any worm casts by making sure that the pitch gets regular brushing, usually at the right time of the season. So you're thinking about when the conditions are drier, is the best time to try and break up those worm casts and disperse them over the soil. Using the right equipment. So there is a basic package that is generally suggested from the Grounds Management Association, which is likely to include a combination turf grooming tool, like you can see on the screen. So this is a really good tool. It's got 4 different operations on it, which will help you to carry out multiple functions at the same time. So you've got a brush there, you've got a spiker there as well, and it'll also be able to remove some of the debris from the pitch as well. So it's well worth, when you do get your pitch power report and you've got the recommended equipment that appears in there, there should be a link next to each of those types of equipment that will take you to a web page that will give you more information about those particular items as well. So definitely have a look at those so you can see that you're purchasing the right thing. And yeah, that'll go a long way to helping you to bring some of those operations in-house as well. If you've got the right sort of site, things like robotic mowers might appear in your pitch power report as well. So you can also get funding for those from the foundation. You can apply for up to £50,000 towards machinery. So you'll need to find 25% of the total cost of the equipment to put towards it, but it's a really good way of sustaining some of those operations well into the future as well. Key one here about being consistent. So obviously try and do as much as you can do, but if you're struggling to get everything done, these operations are definitely ones to try and get done if you can. So we mentioned previously about scarifying to try and get those bits of debris out of the grass. Disc seeding to make sure that you get some more seed into the ground and hopefully keep the grass coverage high. Fertilizer, deep spiking, and then weed control, as well as those localized repairs as well. So you can always, whilst you're continuing to carry out your pitch power assessments, you can always contact the Grounds Management Association, and their regional pitch advisor will come back to you and give you a bit of information that's specific to your site if you need it as well. So don't be afraid to ask any specific questions you've got there as well. Okay, so just to finish up on the machinery, so I mentioned that there's up to £50,000 available that you can apply for. In terms of eligible applicants, clubs, leagues, charities, education establishments, and town and parish councils can all apply. So you don't need any security of tenure. So it doesn't matter if you've not got a lease or a license in place. And yeah, it's probably best that whoever's going to be utilising the equipment is the person who applies. So if you're a club that uses a town and parish council site, but it's the parish council that undertake the maintenance, it might make sense that they're the ones that apply. But again, it's up to you and how it works best for your particular site. Hopefully this particular condition shouldn't be a problem for anyone on this call, but one of the conditions of funding is that you need to have completed the GMA level 1 football grounds maintenance course. So you would have had to have done that for this project anyway. The only time where that might be an issue is where the person who had done that previously has now left the club. So you might need to get someone new to do that. And as mentioned, the machinery must be recommended in your pitch power report. Okay, so moving on to sustaining your investment. So I've given an example here of a 4-pitch site that a club uses. It's a 12-team club and they've got 150 players. So this is an example that we tend to give to applicants or those who are about to start the grass pitch maintenance fund, who are maybe looking at years 3 to 6 and trying to work out, well, how am I going to find £19,000 across those 4 years? So some recommendations that we would make. So this could be useful if you're one of the people who are in year 4, maybe looking ahead to year 5 and thinking, oh, we've got quite a bit more money to be contributing to the project now, is challenging each team within the club to fundraise a portion. So, for example, £250 each. Can you consider your existing spend? Is there any spends that you could maybe pull back on? So some clubs spend an awful lot of money on trophies. Whilst they are excellent and great for the experience for players, would the players prefer a good quality surface to play on all season or a trophy at the end of it? Can you develop any sponsorship opportunities? So that's always a great way of trying to get extra money in. Can you create any new income streams? So thinking about food and beverage, obviously everyone's sites are slightly different and have got different facilities on them. Going to mention another opportunity later on that may be of interest to some who maybe don't have the capacity to deliver food and beverage on site. And can you raise your subs for your players? So I know that sounds like a bit of a bad thing to suggest because obviously the financial climate that we're all in is not the best. However,
people got their mics on.
Here's an example of how it could work, just looking at the 6-year period. So in this example, the club has increased their monthly subs by £2.50 per player across 10 months for the lifetime of the project. So as we mentioned before, their Football Foundation grant was £9,600 each year. Their spend on enhanced maintenance each year is then £9,600 as well, but obviously the foundation's element tapers off across the 6 years. So you can see that by the end of the project, they've managed to cover their applicant contribution and they've been left with £3,300 at the end of that period. Whilst that's great, what happens in year 7 when you're then trying to spend £9,600 again, but you've only got £3,300 left and you've got no funding coming in from the Football Foundation anymore? So here's an example of how it can work across 10 years. So it's an increase in monthly subs of £4 per player across 10 months of the year, which gives increased subs of £6,000. So although it's a higher amount, and you end up with quite a lot of money at the start of the project, it means you're able to make it last for 10 years rather than 6. So you can see once you get to year 7 that you start the period with £16,800 ready to go. Obviously, add in another £6,000 from the increased subs from that year, and that helps you to sustain it for the remaining 4 years. Now, some people will challenge it and go, well, £4 across 10 months is £40 more per year, which is a lot of money, which is true. However, it is the equivalent of £1 a week, which is less than a coffee. So the question you could ask yourself is, would your members be prepared to pay £1 extra per game to play on a good quality pitch? Also, the other option you've got is considering about how you can reduce your investment after year 6. So we mentioned previously about bringing some of the maintenance operations in-house. So your spend on enhanced maintenance might not be 9,600 each year. It may drop down to 6,000, perhaps, which would allow you to then sustain it across that period of time, which is still a lot higher than the investment was before the start of the project. So that's also something to consider for post year 6. Okay, so we're just now going to look into the final section, which is creating some new revenue streams, and we'll get Joe on from Easy Fundraising to talk through how you can achieve that. But first, I'll just talk you through one of the Football Foundation's latest funding schemes. So they've just created, it's been open about a year now, opportunities to apply for catering units. So these cost anywhere between £30,000 to £60,000 depending on what style you go for. Some of them come with toilets attached to them as well, so which can increase the cost. But if your site is one that doesn't have toilets, it can be a really good solution for you, to particularly if you're looking at getting women and girls football on the site. In order to apply, you'd need to get 2 like-for-like quotes. There's 5 different suppliers that are on the foundation website who you'd need to speak to. In the first instance, you need to contact your county FA to discuss the project. Once you've got the green light from them, you can then speak to the 5 suppliers and seek some quotes. You'll need planning approval or evidence that planning is not needed from your local authority. You'll need to do an income and expenditure plan. So this is largely to indicate how you're going to make sure that your the revenue stream is making you money. You need a letter of consent from the landlord if you're not the freeholder. And then also be able to evidence where your partnership funding is coming from. And then finally, a marked up drawing showing exactly where you're going to put it. So with these particular units, if you can't get power supplies and services directly, you can actually have a generator set up next to it as well. So if you're in quite a remote location, then that shouldn't hopefully stop you. Obviously, it is £50,000 or up to £50,000. It can't exceed 75% of the total cost. So just have to bear that in mind when you're considering whether this is something that you can do on your site. Okay, right. I'm going to give my voice a rest because I keep coughing and hand over to Joe from Easy Fundraising.
Cheers, Aidan. I don't think I'm much better than you, to be honest, so I might cough as I go along as well. But I'll just share my screen, guys. I'll pop this into present mode for you. Right, I'm going to be nice and quick because I'm conscious of all your time. But hopefully I can kind of link how Easy Fundraising can support you with your GPMF from year 4 onwards. So a little bit about Easy Fundraising, those that don't know. I know I've had a little look at some of you that are on the call who've put your team names in, and I can see, I'll be honest, if I pronounce this right, I'll be amazed. Is it Reigate Priory or Reigate? I think I'm going to go with Reigate. Tell me if I'm wrong. But you guys are on the platform currently, and I know that you've raised over £1,800 so far, which is fantastic. Always good to have a good example on the call. But football as a whole has raised almost £2 million since we kind of started, and that's all in free donations, thanks to players, parents, and coaches' everyday online spend at over 8,000 retailers. So anywhere you think you can spend online, where you put your supporters and your members are currently shopping, you guys are missing out on free money if you're not signed up. The benefits to Easy Fundraising, like I mentioned, it is free. It's free to the club to set up, and it's free for the users. Really, really easy to get going, and the money that you receive is unrestricted, which is perfect in this scenario, because any money that you get in, you can use towards your pitch maintenance from year 4 onwards, when the contributions start to increase. And we don't ask for any reporting with that as well, so you can just use that straight away towards that. And then the way you are paid is you are paid 4 times a year on what we call our donation days. So providing you meet a minimum threshold, which I think is £15, we'd like to think that you're surpassing that quite a bit, you will get that transferred on a quarterly basis. Before I kind of go any further, I'm going to put this on the screen. Just if you are from any of those county FAs, these are the ones that we are currently doing a bit more work with. So if you did want to sign up, you can do so by scanning the QR code or popping that URL into the search bar. I will put it in the chat after I finish this as well, just kind of for ease. And then if you can't see your county FA on there, we have a simple and easy sign-up process, which is easyfundraising.org.uk/football. So you'll be able to sign up your club regardless whether we work with those county FAs or not. Once you've signed up, book a call with our fundraising specialist team, because they will literally handhold you through the platform, how to raise donations, how to recruit supporters, how to promote it to everybody. It's all in there. So I'd definitely book that call, because you also get exclusive offers as well, in terms of you might get free donations from Easy Fundraising just for simply inviting people to join. Once you've joined, all the material you can think of to encourage new players, parents, coaches to join and support your team and your club for what you're trying to achieve is ready made for you. So there's templates in there, there's Instagram posts, there's photos, there's emails, there's posters you can put around your clubhouse, anything you can think of, WhatsApp messages, all ready to go to help share that message. So you're not having to kind of, reinvent the wheel to get people behind what you're trying to do. And then once they are registered, all they do is simply shop online like they currently do. So there's 3 ways in which they can do that. In fact, 4, which I'll go on to in a sec. You can download our mobile app, which is both on iOS and Android. You can use our website and our donation reminder tool. I'm going to really quickly show it you. So I'm going to dip out of here, and this is our website. Okay, so you would come to our website and you'd find a retailer you want to shop with. So let's just say you're doing some home improvements and you want to go to B&Q. What you would do is you find them as a retailer on our platform, and then you would hit shop now. Now, I understand that that's changing people's buying habits and they're going to have to remember to come to our website first, but that just isn't the case, because what we've got is the donation reminder tool, which I mentioned on the previous slide. So if I go to Google now and I Google B&Q, because I have the donation reminder installed on my desktop browser. This is also available on mobile phones, by the way. You get a reminder straight away that B&Q wants to donate to your team. So if I clicked on that, it would take me to their website. I could complete my purchase, and that will be tracked. Let's just say I don't interact with that and I go to B&Q like without any interaction. Then when you visit the site, because I've got that donation reminder tool installed, all your players, parents, coaches have to do is click here to get donation. And when they do that, they'll get another notification to say that B&Q will now donate to your cause. So put your 3v2 in, put your paint buckets in, any tools you buy in, and 5% of that will go straight back to your team. Another way in which it works is if you're looking for a particular item. So if I go MacBook Pro, I want to treat myself to a laptop. Within Google, you will also get recommendations of where you could get donations from. So it's saying I can go to Apple or go to Currys. For peace of mind, I'm going to go to Apple this time, and I'm going to interact with the donation reminder within Google. And that will take me to Apple's website, and straight away we'll get a notification very shortly when the internet works, to say that they'll donate to your cause. It hasn't quite come into force, but but my point is when you visit the site, it will now automatically track in the background, and your donation will go back to your team. Okay, so going back to here quickly, because I want to get to the nitty gritty of it. The fourth way I said is now we actually have launched our in-store offer. So we are now going with select retailers where you can download our app, link your bank card to the app, and whenever you use that card in the store, it will track a donation back to your club, which is really fantastic for those that maybe do their in-store shop at Tesco, their weekly shop, or shop at John Lewis. So there's only a select few retailers at the moment, but as we roll it out, we'll like to see more and more of those come on board as well. So we're trying to increase the opportunities for you to raise money. Right, some quick tips. Donation reminder tool hopefully is a no-brainer. It's a way that people are just not going to miss a donation when they're visiting their favourite retailers. Weekly Shop is a perfect example, and I'm going to go into a little bit more information on my next slide on how that can really help boost your GPMF contributions. Holidays and big ticket items are a no-brainer. So if you're looking to book a break through TUI, Expedia, Booking.com, any of those big names, whenever you're booking a holiday using Easy Fundraising, you will get free money back for your cause. And you can see there that just 5 supporters booking a holiday could raise you just short of 500 quid for nothing. Okay. And the final bit is business purchases. So find those hidden gems within your club, within those teams that are maybe sole traders, that are maybe booking flights, accommodation, that are traveling, and they can raise money as part of their everyday work. So, if you've got plumbers, electricians that are constantly visiting B&Q, Wickes, those type of places, doing big orders of materials, they're the ones that are going to earn you loads of money for your club. Okay, so my example, going back to the one that Aidan mentioned in the previous slide. So take that Fort Pitch site, for example. By years 5 and 6, the club are going to need to fund 6,400, which, like you said, sounds a bit daunting, but I think we can help you kind of make a big dent into that. The example on the screen, if you've got 18 parents, doesn't have to be parents, could be aunties, uncles, could be grandparents, coaches, family, friends, whoever. If they're supporting your club and at current donation rates, so Morrison's and Sainsbury's, every time you do an online weekly shop with them, they are giving away £1.50 at the moment. Now, that may change throughout the year. They might drop it, they might increase it, they might have special offers. But as it stands, that's the rate they're giving out. If they shopped at those stores online for every week of the next year, that would be £1,400 that your club could earn simply through their members' online weekly shop at no extra cost to them. And all they've got to do is click here to get the donation. So that straight away is a no-brainer, and that is just the start. So you think about it, I've mentioned holidays, car insurance, DIY work, changing your phone contract, buying gifts, around Black Friday, Christmas, all these key things that people are spending online. This is where your clubs could be capitalising on that. And then I'll quickly put this together based upon Aidan's slide around the challenging your teams to raise 250. If we break that down to a team level, what you could do is you could ask all of your teams to set up individually and then set them that target. And if you've asked them to get £250, instead of them doing, fundraisers or bag packing or any cake sales or things like that, all they need is 3 parents to do their online weekly shop at Morrison's or Sainsbury's, and then they've got that pretty much in the bank. And obviously that's just the start. So hopefully those kind of examples really bring to life how easy fundraising is a really easy way to raise your club money. We just need to get people using it. Here's a quick quote from Quarry Rovers, who I know are part of Oxfordshire FA. So they're doing pretty well using easy fundraising. And in just 13 months, this particular club was able to raise just over £1,500, which they did put towards pitch maintenance, but also coaching support and plenty more. So real life examples there of this actually working for grass pitch maintenance. And then I'm just going to pop that there as well. So if I have kind of persuaded you is the right word, if I've enticed you to kind of have a little go and dip your toe in the water, you can do that. But like I said, I will put all those links in the chat just as Aidan finishes up with his last few slides. I'll pop those in the chat for you. If anybody again wanted to kind of come to me directly, has got any more questions away from this, I'm conscious of people's time, come to me directly, joe.robinson@easyfundraising.org.uk. I'm already working with some clubs up and down the country, doing some bespoke work, getting their teams on board. So if you want some actual bespoke help with that, feel free to get in touch with myself there. So I'll stop sharing now, Aidan.
Brilliant. Thanks very much for that, Joe. I think that's a really good and positive set of examples, really, of just how easy it can be. And hopefully, yeah, if everyone on the call goes for it, there's a lot of money there to be able to hopefully replace the funding from the Football Foundation. So, yeah, thanks so much for that. Okay, just finishing off now. So let me just skip through. So last bit really just to mention. So the groundskeeping corner. Some of you may have been on the Football Foundation's previous groundskeepers community, which was on a platform called Hive. They stopped using that at the start of this season and have now launched a Facebook group called the Football Foundation Groundskeeping Corner. There's a lot of people on it. It's got some really good conversation on there. Various different grounds people from across the country, all sharing tips with each other around how they're dealing with various issues, sharing pictures of their grass, giving advice around which bits of equipment work best for them. Definitely worth joining and yeah, getting involved and hopefully giving some advice yourselves and taking some from other people as well. The Football Foundation are really active on there, as well as FA and County FA staff and the Grounds Management Association. But there's also the head groundsman at Wembley who's on there as well, who would occasionally pop in with messages and stuff like that as well. So really worth being on there and yeah, getting involved. You can find it by just searching Football Foundation Groundskeeping Corner on Facebook. Okay, so that brings us to the end. So just in terms of next steps then, really. So as I mentioned right at the start, make sure that once you do hit that 6-year period or beyond the 6-year period, that you do continue those pitch power assessments. The Football Foundation can claw back funding if you don't do that. So make sure you do. Obviously, they get information around how your pitch is progressing, but you'll continue to get the reports that will give you the advice around what to do with your site, with your pitches. Make a plan for how you're going to sustain your investment. So are you going to have to raise player subs? Are you going to pull back on trophy spends? Maybe you're going to consider applying for funding for machinery from the foundation so you can bring some of those operations in-house. Or perhaps you're going to look at new revenue streams like easy fundraising. And then obviously, as I just mentioned, make sure you do join the Groundskeeping Corner. And if you've got any other kind of questions or particular support that you might need, make sure you get in touch with your county FA in the first instance, who will hopefully be able to guide you in the right direction. So that's it from me. Has anyone got any kind of questions before we call it a day? See if there are any in the chat. No. Okay, well, if not, then thanks so much, everyone, for giving up your evening. And yeah, catch up with you all again soon.